The rule of show business is if it's the first week of my album release and you are saying either my name or my album title, you're helping.
Taylor Swift is obsessed with black women.
If that orange man in office didn't get to you first, it was because Taylor Swift already had.
It's always sounded like this for the rest of us. She wasn't so openly racist before about it. It did always, this is what we experienced.
What you're going through in your life is going to affect whether you relate to the music that I'm putting out at any given moment.
So if a black woman or a person of color is telling you that something is racist, something is microaggressive, something is not sitting with them the right way, that is not the time for you as a white person to open your mouth and say, actually,
I have a dream.
Oh, everyone's here now. Hello, what it do? What it do, fam? How are you doing? How are you doing? I've been kind of keeping off streaming for a little bit, so it's nice to see everyone back and so much messages so quickly. Whoa, hi, hello. All right, doing my hair while watching you. Oh, that's sick. I recently just did my retwist and did my like cut and my re-dye. That's why like my hair isn't like pink exactly right now, because it like fades into a pink. It's nice to see everyone. Hi, doing well, and you? Oh my god, I got banned for, I don't know if I should repeat say it, but I got banned because this white supremacist came in my chat and I told him to get.
That's suspicious. That's
like, come
weird.
on, like, isn't that just like normal? But today is not about Charlie Kirk. I've done enough videos about Charlie Kirk. I done put almost, the Nick Fuentes video was half a video about Charlie Kirk. You know what I'm saying? I wrote about Charlie Kirk on 3 different damn occasions. We go into new waters today. We're talking about Taylor Swift and the opalite kind of lyric that has come out of her new album. And I say Taylor Swift is like the highest form of like white fatigue for me, just because she's been around for so long, and like all of these concepts that I'm going to argue into fruition have already been, like, you know, stated by multiple black women, by multiple black Swifties, by multiple people in the Swiftie fandom. But like, I had to come on here and do it in a black way, I guess.
That's suspicious.
I guess I gotta nigga it up.
I have a dream.
I guess. So you did the right thing. Oh my god. The title sent me lovely. I'm happy the title's a banger because, like, dead ass, there's so much to get into with Taylor Swift. So much to get into with Taylor Swift. I think I'm gonna start calling Taylor Swift fans Aryans. Like, I think I'm gonna be like, hi Aryans, because we're deep in enemy territory, okay? Taylor Swift is probably top 2 in non-melanated activities, up there with like golf and like, and yeah, Taylor Swift is interchangeable with golf in terms of unmelanated activities. She's GOAT level of that shit, right? Because there's no way a sensible person with melanin hears her lyrics and comprehends a banger, okay? She's truly for the folk that call themselves wallflowers because they don't know how to do a 2-step, okay? She's for the girl in the corner that calls herself mysterious, but really she just never learned how to throw it back in the middle of a circle. So now she uses her seclusion as a personality type, okay? That's who Taylor Swift is for, okay? That's who Taylor Swift is for.
I have a dream.
All right, I'm gonna stop. But the reason why the Aryan accusations today are at an all-time high are because Taylor Swift's white feminism is kind of being called into public discourse again. You know what I'm saying? She's garnishing public scrutiny because of these lyrics, and it's because she's releasing another breakup album too. That's like 6 damn breakup eras, man. I'm not saying women can't like rap, and I mean, Taylor Swift doesn't rap. Tweet T-Swizzle. Y'all remember T-Swizzle? Well, yeah, I'm not saying Taylor Swift can't write about a little heartbreak, but the peak of music for feminist art in a commercial sense is held by a white girl who breaks up with white men once in a while, then tells us we couldn't survive a day in the jail she was raised in when her house had 3 floors, okay? When her house had 3 floors,
That's
okay?
suspicious. That's
Okay.
weird.
Like, I feel like I'm allowed to call this into question a little bit of her stature of femininity and what she imposes or what she projects even in nature to feminism, if you want to call her a feminist at that, or if you want to call Taylor Swift's feminist art at that, because a lot of people do, sadly, right? And I get that in the modern age, symbolism is powerful as like constant figures in a jarring algorithm of constant virality can bring about a needed normality of context, right? That's why I'm subscribed to the people I'm subscribed to on Twitch and YouTube, because I want to be in a context of normality surrounding black politically leftist thought. You know what I'm saying? There's a sense to establishing normality through the figures you follow, right? So I don't hate everyone that follows Taylor Swift's or listens to her from time to time, because like whatever, your vices are yours to sort out, right? That's your demon to exercise. That's your life struggle, okay? I don't hate. And to be honest, to put it simply, this is also why I also think an attention algorithm, I guess, is eclipsing the commercial industry and causing this sort of discourse too, because now we have people that are politically active voicing their frustrations on the muse of Taylor Swift on TikTok, and that's circulating too. I'm gonna get into that, right? But that's it, right? The figures with the most traction have a big say in current context, and that's a lot of what Taylor Swift's platform or discourse comes with. However, this has brought about the discourse surrounding what artists represent as symbols of identity. You know what I'm saying? Since we're constantly seeing them in our algorithm. For all the people who witnessed the rise of TikTok, think of like Charli D'Amelio, right? Having a woman run the algorithm for the early TikTok may be a good thing if you're only putting feminism into context. But we have to pick apart the social insinuation in order to understand what feminism means deeper than just presentation, right? Because a lot of Charli D'Amelio's dancing was straight up commodified or stolen from black women. In a sort of way, Taylor Swift's artistry benefits from the same practice with country, right? All right, so I'm happy everyone's here. I want to get right to the video. Everyone's already having conversations in the comments. Someone said, imagine being a billionaire with a B and still thinking it's okay to be writing lyrics like those and releasing almost 30 nearly identical versions of the same album. Yup, all to undermine other femme artists too, which is kind of like a little sickening to me. I'm like, Swifties, how do y'all even like deal with this? First of all, calling yourself a Swiftie is like getting instated into the feminist version of the Hitler Youth, like the women KKK, you know what I'm saying? Like calling yourself a Swiftie is like you did the salute, like you did. Yeah,
I have a dream.
that's like the Tumblr version of the salute, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a choice, that's a real choice that people make. Taylor is the complete opposite of feminism to me at this point. This album is giving trad life. The hair is extremely cute here. Thank you. Yeah, but today is a pleasant day to hate. You know, the birds are chirping, the season's changing, everyone's having a key, and 3 little birds sat on my window, and they told me you don't have to worry. You know what I'm saying? So I found out Taylor Swift had an album, and I kind of had to say something about it, because I never really butt my head in on these conversations. I'm always the type to like stand back when it's art I don't directly admire. But Taylor Swift is so unique because Taylor Swift has been there the whole time I've been growing up. You know what I'm saying? Taylor Swift has been a constant conversation of art and feminism, like almost my entire life, and she benefits from the aspect of white fragility in a sense, to just her depiction of feminism, like her as a figure, is enough for a lot of people, right? And especially with the current discourse, there's this song called Opalite that's sort of causing discourse in the mainstream, and I believe it's a bar where she compares herself and Travis Kelce's ex, who's black, as a light and dark metaphor. You know what I'm saying? Travis Kelce's ex is black, guys. I have to stress that. That's the controversy, right? And she's white, and she's writing about her being a better thing for Travis Kelce and the ex being like this roaring thunderstorm, right? And I know people say Taylor Swift's pen is where she earns her charm, but she writes like the charm was promised to her 2,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And everyone just accepts it like the charm was like promised to her 2,000 years ago, right? Like y'all give her the grace only rivaled by Zionistic fervor is what I'm saying. Like I quite literally think of her work in the same way I think of a made-up nation trying to reaffirm itself, right? As in the hollow nature of her existence speaks for herself. It's that ass. You know what I'm saying, guys? You know what I'm saying.
That's just
You know what I'm saying?
I have a dream.
Nice to see you in the live, though. Nice to see you in the live. I'm sorry for trolling so hard, but let's get into what I mean, because like what I'm constantly referencing here is a concept called white feminism. Does the chat know what white feminism is? Somebody in the chat, tell me what white feminism is. So before we start ranting about Taylor Swift's persona and how she's become a staple of commodification in a history of purposefully distorted narratives for white identity, we have to talk about this concept of white feminism. And I'm gonna pull something up in order for all of us to discuss after I read a little bit of these comments. Someone said, I see very little discussion about the lyric on Wishlist. Everyone wants a big butt and a baby face. Oh God. You see what I mean? Like white feminism sits in a comfortable mold that kind of questions aspects of femininity and extends to oppression, but at the end of the day, the symbolism of feminism, or I guess the visage or the mirror held up, will be a commonplace norm, right? And Taylor Swift being this commonplace norm of white identity, going against I guess a more black presenting feminism in a stereotypical lens, like the big lips, big butt of a lot of these stars. You know what I'm saying? Like her combating that in that way and being like, I could be the way I am, that should be very uplifting until you realize like she constantly frames women and molds of femininity to conform to her for happiness. You know what I'm saying? But we about to get into the definitions of white feminism. Someone said white feminism is thinking white cis women should deserve to be CEOs. Yup. And Taylor Swift is a capital B billionaire, as somebody said. White feminism is feminism that centers white women and white women's rights to own capital. Yup. Sort of wanting to empower only certain white, thin, able-bodied cis women. Yup. Y'all are way ahead of me on this. Damn, y'all are way ahead of me on this. But I have this article called Feminism Not for All, the discourse around white feminism across 5 social media platforms. You could read that if you want more insight onto this. But it says here, white feminism and why is it a problem? White feminism has been criticized by scholars as a lack of structural intersectionality of gender and race and a practice of erasing the agency of women of color. Moon and Howling Zakara criticized the racism underlying white feminism that disregards the intersectional differences among women, right? And it shows like examples here of the viral Me Too craze. I didn't know this before I read this article, but the Me Too craze started off with black women, initially with an activist called Tarana Burke, to help survivors of sexual abuse through empathy and community support in a worldwide phenomenon. It was kind of whitewashed and taken over by a lot of different white women in media, but to that degree, those grievances are meant to be heard. You know what I'm saying? But when they took the photo for the paper, that black woman wasn't invited, and those white feminists were on the screen. You know what I'm saying? For the spectacle they brought to the forefront. And this is when I want to talk about the nature of feminism in general and how it reacts to a normality of society. You know what I'm saying? Because when we talk about concepts like white feminism, it's not different from a norm in which you've lived and understand and spent your whole K to 12 to university years to your whole life in. You know what I'm saying? You understand this concept just as much as I do. When you were in the classroom and that white girl was crying and got what she wanted, and you crying, you got kicked out the class, like shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Suspicious. That's weird.
Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So white feminism frames femininity as unified and universal from a white cisgender and middle class perspective, while disregarding intersectional and marginalized groups, silencing women of color, LGBTQ groups, women with disabilities, and women in poverty, right? And like I said before, white feminism is also related to white fragility, which is the structure of innocence, right? When I think of the structure, basically I'm thinking about the social order of what we live through, right? And what I mean by structure of innocence is the need to play, or the way white identity is used in order to stave off criticism or stave off aspects of racism or privilege that come with the white settler colonial identity, right? It's the ways in which white identity is used to reflect blame during a sense of discomfort. It's defense that essentially upholds a status quo that continues the current marginalization of Black women, Black men, Latino and indigenous women and men. You know what I'm saying? When you view the world through the eyes of a white feminist, matters like positionality, matters that position themselves at your doorstep, you may overlook. You know what I'm saying? You may be put into relative perspective comparative to the men around you, though, like distinctly shared by middle class perspectives, mostly by these white women, right? These often look like comparative models to white men from middle class America who are doing like super well because of a privileged identity in class. But all you're doing is moving the goalpost of liberation to a confined group that does go through marginalization, but much to the homogenization of your activism. What it does is it hurts your activism, right? Because you don't get the other groups in there. White feminism commonly wouldn't see the troubles of things like differing hair products for like Black women, you know what I'm saying? Because 4C hair has to be specifically taken care of. And when presented in the forms of dreads and twist, they can have extra layers of scrutiny, which like don't get you jobs or don't make you seen as like less professional, right? There's a reason why all the conservative women like Candace Owens have those party city ass wigs, like those stiff wigs, and they stare into the camera and do the baby voice and just let white men like froth over them. You know what I'm saying? They know their perception of femininity. They know. But basically this notion asserts a mainstream dominance of feminism, white feminism. It asserts a mainstream dominance of feminism. This is in order to bolster and demean the continuous communal work, because the feminism should be a signifier, right? So why do I say Taylor Swift is the feminism, right? Do y'all think she's the feminist perception in pop culture, and why? Like, I'm open to being wrong. Please debate with me. Like, this is going to be a back and forth. Like, I'm not the biggest Taylor Swift fan, nor do I care about her enough to dox y'all over this. So I'm very open to having my mind changed. You know what I'm saying? However, I contextualize her as the feminism because the ways she's developed through her art. But let me talk to the audience for a little bit, because I got a lot of a yap out. Someone says it sounds to me that y'all want to be misogynistic and disguise it as defending feminism, but it's okay, but because she's a rich white woman. And no, actually, did you know that there were women in the KKK? Did you know that there were women in activist groups that demeaned and kicked out Black women specifically? Did you know that social groups or social organizations actually come from people? So ideas like white feminism confide that very same means of organization to just white women. You know what I'm saying? And that will never bring us liberation. When have you heard of the White Panther Party with white women? Like, let's be so for real.
I have a dream.
Like, obviously there are still intersectional problems, like Assata Shakur writes about a lot with like Huey P. Newton and different people in the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? Assata Shakur talked about the aspects of men being pedestaled more so for women in these spaces, right? And that's a factor of patriarchy. But you also have to look at class division and how Taylor Swift is a billionaire. Taylor Swift is a billionaire, right? Taylor Swift actively contributes to the overall disenfranchisement of all of us, right? In a means of capital, in a means of monopoly, Taylor Swift is a figure for women in the Spotify charts for a reason. You know what I'm saying? And then she becomes the standard to which women are judged artistically, when in reality she's probably the worst lyrical standard of a feminist artist I could ever think of. I'm gonna be honest. There's so much better artists. Have y'all heard of Jamila Woods? Wait, I gotta show y'all Jamila Woods. So this is Jamila Woods and the record Heaven, right? Jamila Woods is writing about a couple, right? A black couple living in a modern day, going through systemic disenfranchisement. And she sings, show me, show me, show me how you do that trick. The one that makes you love someone. The world wants us so numb and alone. And that's a reference to systemic disenfranchisement felt in every black relationship, but one that has to be overcome, right? And how this sanctuary of a relationship can overcome systemic struggles through the aspect of love towards these two people, right? And she talks about how her great-great-grandma and her great-great-grandpa didn't need a ring. They didn't need a broom. They didn't need nothing old or nothing new. They jumped in the ocean together, right? Their love for each other was so strong, they jumped in the ocean together rather than to suffer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's such a beautiful metaphor. That's such a beautiful metaphor. But then there were also other black people who carried on this tradition of loving each other through the cold, the systemic erasure, the systemic. Taylor Swift could never write anything like this, right? So I ain't being misogynistic. I'm just saying she's awful. I'm saying your goat is washed. I'm saying your Aryan goat is washed. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Aye. Someone said, hello, I just joined. What did I miss so far? You missed a little bit, but not too much. We still getting into this. Someone said, I don't see this energy about any other billionaires from the usual suspects. What do you mean? Do you know who I am? Do you know what channel I'm on? Do you know how much billionaires I've called out? How much white billionaires I've called out? How much black billionaires I've called out? How much like societies I've called out? You're saying this on the wrong channel. You're saying this on the wrong channel, my dog. But anyway, Taylor is someone who openly dates a lot, which can be controversial for women. And she was profiting off from writing about it in her songs. That's the cure. That's the cure. Listen, Turb, where did these billionaires come from in your chat as they are now here? I don't know where these billionaire defenders came from, dog. I don't know where these billionaires, like, people will see somebody hating like on a billionaire that is actively polluting the air every time they want to take a step outside and go for a walk, that is actively making music shittier by releasing album after album where they don't have to be ingenuitive, by doing all this, and then look at me and be like, oh, you the hater. The hell? Your goat is washed. Your goat is washed. Your goat was never riding shotgun with her hair undone. Nah, your goat was from a 3-story mansion and her dad was a stockbroker on Wall Street. The hell? Your goat is washed.
I have a dream.
Yeah, someone said chat getting gentrified. Oh my god. We about to wash out the gentrification with this one. But anyways. Back to the video. We ought to get back on course. Anyways, this album is called Melanie Martinez, Taylor Swift and the White Feminist Department, right? She talks about being a Swiftie, loving I Knew You Were Trouble and everything, but this part really came out to me. Swift's music, though well written, is very formulaic and her songs tend to sound the same. That's a very nice way of saying mid. The Peter piano intro sounded just like New Year's Day, and the prophecy feels very similar to Seven. My first thought listening to the song The Tortured Poets Department was, wow, this sounds like Suburban Legends. And though I'm a diehard Evermore folklore fan, I'm aware of how similar the soft melodies of these songs are. Even I get confused between songs. Additionally, her themes are quite plain. She can't stop writing about breakups and love. Swift alluded to people's annoyance with her uniform music themes in a very feminist speech she gave while accepting the Woman of the Decade award. Imagine Taylor Swift being Woman of the Decade. Have we fallen? Have we fallen as a nation? Taylor Swift is Woman of the Decade? Really? Over all the community? I can name a bunch of women who are better than Taylor Swift. First of all, no name. Better lyricist than Taylor Swift, hands down. And then secondly, she does food kitchens all across like America, and book clubs too, right? Where she teaches black kids how to learn and listen. Where she teaches black kids how to learn and feeds black kids. You know what I'm saying? Bruno, my advisor, literally set up a food kitchen in our city that literally feeds indigenous people and gives 400 meals a damn week. You know what I'm saying? All through her own pocket, and then just being supported by all of us. You know what I'm saying? There's so much women doing so much things. Somebody getting a Woman of the Decade award for writing breakup songs just goes to show you how the performance of femininity is sort of seen in a popular zeitgeist. I want to say. And I want to read some of these comments. Someone said we died and live in hell apparently. No Name gives books to inmates. She's goated, right? No Name is so cool. No Name is one of the coolest. No Name actually watches some of my videos. So No Name, if you're watching this, I love you, and you're my favorite art. No Name, you got me through college. But anyways, like I'm saying. In other interviews, Swift points out that male artists are never criticized for writing about love, and how criticizing her for that is a very sexist angle. Right? I'm not going to deny it. Criticizing her for solely writing about her ex-boyfriends is a sexist angle. However, my problem comes with the cups of Taylor Swift's feminism activism is being able to write about her exes, right? And this is where I want to say this is where that white fragility comes in, right? Where she's allowed to step back into the mediocrity. And this is why I have white fatigue. Because she's allowed to step into that white mediocrity and say, oh, well, this is just misogyny. No, you're actually awful at your craft, and all you do is write breakup songs. You're not pushing the lever, and you're being awarded for being this conventional figure of femininity that doesn't push against the mold. You know what I'm saying? You don't push against the mold. You don't at all. You stay in this subservient view of almost like a trad wife, right? And you market yourself from that image. Historically, you've marketed yourself off of images of whiteness, including country, which is in itself a whole modification and narrative of white identity co-opted from black identity. That's what she started in. You know what I'm saying? Like she's allowed to, I guess, as a feminist or labeled a feminist, be able to be like, oh, well, no, y'all aren't criticizing the men like this. Y'all aren't criticizing the other people like this. No, you are part of the problem. You are part of, this is why I want to expand the term to white supremacist capitalist patriarchy too, because white women have took part in racism and settler colonialism throughout the history of America. You know what I'm saying? And of course, in a subservient, marginalized position. But people like Taylor Swift in the New World are able to gain the capital to not be one of these people all the way back then that were being beaten by their wives. You know, by being beaten by their wives. I hope a lot of men were beaten by their wives. But yeah, women, a long time ago, it was illegal for women. It was legalized for men to beat their wives. You know what I'm saying? And she's not one of these women from over there that are oppressed in that way. She is a billionaire that hops on yachts and planes when she wants to go on vacation. She could call up Elon Musk, be on SpaceX right now, be in the stars, right? You know, be up in Saturn. You know what I'm saying? She could be gone. She could fly. You know what I'm saying? Like she could fly. You know what I'm saying?
I have a dream.
A majority of us will never even step foot on a in a foreplane. The majority of people born on the planet Earth will not step foot in an airplane. Taylor Swift has her own airplane. You know what I'm saying? Taylor Swift has her own airplane. But let's keep reading through this. White feminism focuses on the idea that empowerment is achieved through capitalist means, right? And that's the kind of moniker Taylor Swift embodies, right? Me being this woman in the industry is the feminist dream in itself, and I don't have to change for anybody. That's Taylor Swift's kind of moniker of activism, and that's what she doesn't fall out of, right? She believes being in this space and being a figure in this position is enough, when in actuality all she's doing is upholding the same means of connotation, be it through breakup songs and the trad wife image onto women and presenting that as a delectable image. You know what I'm saying? But then she could use white fragility to be like, oh no. She is though. The problem is though, is that it leaves many other identities behind and ignores the fact that different women all over the world experience misogyny in differing ways. However, the white feminist narrative insists that she is battling misogyny by going on the first ever billion-dollar tour making history. She went on the first ever billion-dollar tour. While yes, it is nice to see a woman succeeding in a sexist industry, it's also crucial to acknowledge the other fights women are leading. Women afflicted by conflict and wars, women unable to go to school, women without reproductive rights. Swift's massive tour in aesthetic feminism is not going to fix that. Right. This is why I call her white feminism, or why I call her white feminist adjacent. So Taylor Swift, I have two big arguments for your white feminism, okay? One, as a figure of pop culture appeal, and two, as a metaphor for patriarchy, right? It seems like the only appeal Taylor Swift gives to her fans is the aspect of love from the role of a woman in a patriarchal relationship, right? But before we get into Taylor Swift and the sort of loose framing of feminism she floats on, we have to understand her fan base and what her presentation of character even means to a popular order. You know what I mean? And this is the only part of video where we address the main controversy with the song Opalite, because I want to talk about so much other things and they're gonna come up. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. So the viewing of white feminism was on full display on her song Opal, right? Which is the third song on her newest album, Opalite, right? I got it up here. Let's go through it. On Opalite, Taylor captures the quiet resilience and luminous calm of finding the right person for her after a series of hardships. That's how it's discovered. I had a habit of missing lovers past. My brother used to call it eating out of the trash. Even the way she like rhymes is so like Robert Munch. It's so like Dr. Seuss. I feel like we can make a Taylor Swift song like on stream in like 20 damn minutes. Like, let me pull up a notepad. Okay. I was tumbling in the wind. You were floating in the night. I flew past a misty haze. You stepped out. You're in sight. Oh, I know I'm white, but my future with you is bright. I'm pure now. I'm white. And my future with you is we will conquer the night. Baby, as I drift past, hold me tight. That's a Taylor Swift song, okay? I was tumbling in the wind. You were floating in the night. I flew past a misty haze. You stepped out. You're in sight. I'm pure now. I'm white. And my future with you is bright. Like, that's a Taylor Swift song. I don't care. That's a damn Taylor Swift song. I don't care what nobody said. This is a fucking Taylor Swift song right here. Look at this Taylor Swift song. What the hell? Look at this. We just made a Taylor Swift song right there. Like, hashtag, give me more. Where my Grammy? Where my Grammy? Where my Grammy?
That's suspicious.
Where my Grammy?
I have a dream.
The fact you're all saying you write better than her, actually. This is actually better. This is literally this. Okay, we back to that song though. We getting back to that song. Anyways. My brother used to call it eating out of the trash. It's never gonna last. I thought my house was haunted. I used to live with ghosts, and all the perfect couples said, when you know, and when you don't, you don't. Like, what type of white? Oh, you just want to hate on Taylor Swift because she's a woman. No, look at her, read this. Are we reading the same thing? No, I had to actually understand, like, are we reading the same thing? Come on. Like, we're not reading the same thing, are we? No, I had to shorten this. So you get the full scope, the full picture. Like, no way. Look at this. But my mama told me it's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night. Okay, guys. Travis Kelce. This is Travis Kelce, right? This is Travis Kelce, popular football player. I forget her name. And this is Travis Kelce's ex-girlfriend, Kaya Nicole, right? Think about that metaphor. My mama told me it's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night. Think about that metaphor. Okay? Right? But now the sky is opalite. What he was doing that in the past, but now the sky is opalite, right? And this is onyx. Right? This is him in the past. He was dancing through the onyx night. But now he's with opalite, right? He's with this white, bright stone, right? You don't think that's a little weird? Are your eyebrows going up yet? Someone said all of his exes have been black women. That's even worse. All his exes. I didn't know that. Wait, so all of Travis Kelce's exes have been black women. They've all been black women. And this is the first white woman that touches Travis Kelce, right? This is the first white woman that touches Travis Kelce. The first thing she does is go dumb on it cracker style. Dumb on it cracker style. By saying she going opalite. That's the first thing she does. A 40-year-old woman, 50-year-old woman, 50-year-old grown woman saying you were dancing with onyxes and now you're with an opalite. 50-year-old woman. And this is your feminist queen.
I have a dream.
This is your feminist queen. What have we turned into as a society? What have we turned into? As I'm pure, now I'm white. I'm telling you, I wrote her song without writing her song by accident. I wrote her song without writing her song. Look at my song. I was just memeing here, right? Look at these lyrics. I was just memeing. I was tumbling in the wind. You were floating in the night. I flew past a misty haze. You stepped out. You're in sight. That's kind of the same lead up. I'm pure now, I'm white, and my future with you is bright. That's basically what she's implying by saying she's now opalite. And Travis Kelce was like going with Onyx Woman. You know what I'm saying? I basically wrote the same song she did. That was by accident. Like, I was really just trying to be racist. But see, some people think like that in a normality. I had to go through 3 layers of irony in order to put myself in that mood. She wakes up in that mood. You know what I'm saying? She wakes up, she goes, oh, time to write about white women and my ex's black girlfriends. She wake up on that timing. She wake up on that timing is so funny. Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone said it's also worth mentioning 3 of her exes are with or married to black women. I know that woman got a vendetta. I know that woman got a former KKK robe in her just hanging. Like, you know how like in the Batcave, the Batman suit is just hanging there? I know she has like her KKK robe just like hanging there. And whenever she goes to like the studio sessions, she just looks upon it and she goes into deep thought of if she should put it on again. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Like, no way. No way. Anyways, the viewing of white feminism was on full display on her song Opalite, right? With Taylor Swift describing herself as pure and angelic, and Travis Kelce's ex, who was a black woman, as a dark thundering storm. And Travis Kelce's multiple black exes, actually. It was more than one. It was all of the exes, right? But I'm deep in Aryan territory right now, so I want to grab like a TikTok video that like more sincerely explains this, because me, like, I grew up with Taylor Swift like kind of around me, but we were always like the phony country people, right? Because I live in Edmonton, Alberta, and if y'all know anything about Edmonton, Alberta, we're just fake yeehaw over here, which essentially is just cowboy culture in itself. But we commodify that culture. Like, we do square dancing in our schools. We do like, we think of ourselves as rural farmers and ranchers and all that. Although a lot of our province are rural farmers and ranchers. The people in the city, obviously, they're settler colonials. You know what I'm saying? They're the white people. They're not really the ranchers and everything. But I pulled up this little clip from this little white woman, and we gonna listen to her.
Okay, I'm gonna be that friend that's too woke again for a second, except this time. So I made a video about the song Wishlist and how it kind of seemed like nuclear family propaganda to me. And then I saw a lot of people saying that the song Opalite was giving that Taylor Swift was really jealous and insecure about the fact that her boyfriend had previously only dated black women. And I like some of Taylor's songs, but I'm not a Taylor fan, so I don't really know Travis Kelce's lore like that. And so I decided to look it up. He dated Maya Benberry, Zuri Hall, and most recently, Kayla Nicole. And now he's dating Taylor Swift. This is just what I could find.
That's 3. That's a triple kill. Taylor Swift, that's legally a massacre, I think.
Publicly, I'm not going to deep dive crazily into his dating life. But then, let's go to the song Opalite. So when I was first listening to this, like the first verse, I've had a bad habit of missing lovers past. My brother used to call it eating out of the trash, blah, 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 blah. I thought, well, maybe this is Because Taylor Swift notoriously has a bunch of shitty ex-boyfriends, so maybe she's talking about them. I think if you don't keep up with the lore like that. So I was like, oh, she's just shading her ex-boyfriends and how she's just happy with Travis Kelce now. This is about herself. But then you continue in the song, and that's when I told you. And later in the song, it's not I, Taylor Swift, it's you. So we assume she's talking about Travis Kelce. Yes?
See, I'm not even wrong. Everybody, even the crackers on my side. Even the white women on my side. Even the white women on my side. Like, this is what I'm saying. Even the Aryan army of the Aryan Taylor Swift listeners are taking what I'm saying to heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like us being shocked about this is not as revolutionary as it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because this seems like a open and shut case. This seems like an open and shut case, but we gonna keep watching.
And that's what I told you. It's all right. You were dancing through the lightning strikes, sleepless in the onyx night. But now, the sky is opalite. This verse, you couldn't understand it why you felt alone. You were in it for real. She was in your phone, and you were just supposed. This is clearly about Travis. He was sleepless in the onyx night. But now, his sky is opalite, or whatever. But I saw people saying the onyx versus opalite comparison is clearly about race. And I didn't know my rock theory like that. Sorry. So I looked it up. And this is onyx. It is a normally black rock. This is opalite. It is a shiny, ethereal, white, milky rock. Travis Kelce was sleepless with all of his exes in the onyx night. But now with Taylor Swift,
Yeah, I feel like she just coming to the same conclusion we did. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we don't need the white women help no more. I feel that was a useful Muska tool though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the Swifties saying on TikTok. Someone said I only got here a few minutes ago. Did we talk about her getting drunk and petting The Weeknd's hair like he was a golden retriever yet? That happened? Like The Weeknd? Like The Weeknd? No way, I gotta search this up. Okay, I got this pulled up. I got it pulled up, chat. Chat, I got the clip. Chat, I got the clip. Chat, we gotta watch this.
I woke an email from The Weeknd.
And was he there?
Was like, yeah, and he was like, you told me how beautiful I was for like 15 minutes straight and started to pet my hair.
Oh,
so
it sounds very passive.
It looked really cool that night, and I apparently went on about it.
It sounds like quite the evening. You petted The Weeknd.
Yeah, I just
like
thought,
an animal.
I was like, you're so magnificent.
Did we just watch the same thing? Did we just watch the same thing, chat? Chat, did we watch the same thing? I swear to God, I have weight fatigue. I swear to God, I have weight fatigue, chat. Because how the fuck does Taylor Swift get away with this?
I have a dream.
How does Taylor Swift get away with
I have
this?
a dream.
I swear, if I'm the only one that has weight fatigue, there's a problem here. Because how is she constantly
I have a dream.
You can't get away with this. You can't get away with this. You can't always get away with this. I didn't even know about this. I didn't even know about this. You're so magnificent and starts petting him like this? Oh, no. 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 That doesn't even seem real. It doesn't even seem real, right? But I've always been like deep in white territory, right? Taylor Swift was like a major figure, like I said before, in Edmonton, Alberta, of all places when I was growing up, which makes sense because there's like this full sense of like cowboy culture in Edmonton. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, we learn a square dance in phys ed. We're proud of our farmers and ranchers to a point of national fervor. And of course, all in a white way. Taylor Swift also used the beginning of her career to sort of mold herself around like this commonplace identity of like cowboy culture, right? So Edmonton radio and culture naturally adopted her. So I grew up actually hearing Taylor Swift constantly on the radio, right? You walk into an IKEA, you walk into a restaurant, even in my phys ed yoga classes, dog. Like if I told you I know all the words to our song, don't revoke my black card because I might know all the words to our song. I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
I have a dream.
But now that I'm seeing all these videos and getting more and more proof of the cracker creativity that Taylor Swift is pushing herself towards, I don't know if I completely agree with y'all knowing that I know all the words to our song, but I do know that all the words to our song, okay, canonically, right? Although I can't decide although I can't deny that there's like one or two songs that like go if you're on a road trip to like Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Taylor Swift never really connected with me, as in the imagery of her. You know what I mean? Like, granted, she wasn't for me. Like I said, we're deep in Aryan territory. But back then, you didn't really need to embody a specific image because most songs were heard on like radio or in a lot of third space, right? Like whether you are going to the grocery store and hear a new song in the aisle, you didn't really turn on TikTok back then because TikTok wasn't a thing and learn new songs from over there, right? You were put on by other people, right? You weren't really being sonically overloaded with 5-second clip after 5-second clip of music back then. You know what I'm saying? Virtually, virality had way more weight on it, and it had way more weight to it. And in terms of music, that virality was present with the radio, not an app like TikTok or a streaming service like Spotify, right? This gave Taylor Swift the unique ability to construct a character that she's never been. And let's watch a little bit of this and I'll tell you what I'm talking about. We're gonna watch a little bit of this. This is Taylor's first interview while she's a little kid, kind of cosplaying a caricature of a country singer. This was one of her eras. It was the country singer era. That's what they're calling it. They're calling it the country singer era. They're saying it was actually my favorite era, if we're being honest. Taylor Swift's country singer era, but controversial as hell because as we're going to learn a lot that she kind of becomes an avatar of cultural conformity, even in her depiction of a country singer. But we're going to play this for a bit.
Hudson, and like I've been promising all hour long, Taylor Swift in with me, the young, sweet, beautiful Taylor Swift, only 16 years old, already making waves across the music scene. I mean, that's quite impressive to be 16-year-old and writing your own music.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. It's been unbelievable.
Well, when did you start? I mean, how does...
Fred Hampton assembled the Rainbow Coalition when he was only 22. I don't care about what white artists did when they were 16. I don't care.
One creates so many wonderful songs. I mean, I was reading you've already written over 150 songs and I mean getting humongous airtime with Tim McGraw, Taylor Swift, Tim McGraw, which we're gonna play the video for you here in a minute. But what inspired you for this song? Well, obviously Tim McGraw, but I don't know, at 16, it's such a young age, so.
Well, I started out singing and stuff and dragging my parents to festivals.
Someone said, why is she faking a Southern accent? And that's exactly what I wanted y'all to hop on, because this is the shit that I'm talking about, right? Like, here's an interview, like I said before, Taylor Swift when she was young. This was the Our Song era. Our song is a summer screen door, staying early, tapping on your window. You know, when she had that little voice, when she was faking it, when she, her aesthetic was more so a guitar, right? And she marketed herself as this small country girl coming onto the scene, right? That's the kind of moniker she took on. But she wasn't any of this, and I'm about to expose her. I'm about to read the Wikipedia, right? It says here, Taylor Swift was born in West Reading, Pennsylvania. She is named after the singer-songwriter James Taylor. Her parents chose a unisex name hoping it would help her succeed in business, right? This was because her father, Scott Swift, was a stockbroker for Merrill Lynch, right? Merrill Lynch is an investment program revenued at $13.8 billion in 2012. $13.8 billion in 2012, right? It's probably grown a lot since then, right? $13.8 billion. He was working for this. He was not poor, right? And her mother, Andrea Gardner, worked as a mutual fund marketing executive, right? This is a very rich family, very, very rich family. During childhood, Swift spent her holiday seasons on a Christmas tree farm in Pennsylvania. Christmas tree. What the fuck is a Christmas tree farm, bro? Bro, what the fuck is, how rich do you have to be? Like, I don't even think I have the tax bracket knowledge to comprehend what a Christmas tree farm is to you and break it down in a material sense to provide a class consciousness to you, because it's so far removed from my understanding of what a holiday should be that I just can't contextually get it in my brain. She's just so rich, it transcends a barrier of reality. Like a Christmas tree farm? I've never even seen no way. A Christmas tree farm? God, chat, Christmas tree farm. Chat. This is what she did on her holiday season. She was just chilling there for the little vacay. She was just at the Christmas tree farm for the vacay. Imagine you going on vacay, like everybody come back from vacay, right? Everybody come back from vacay. It's time for everybody to give a little bit of a synopsis of where they've been, right? My ass been plucking grass and doing experiments on the ants in my front yard. You know what I'm saying? Pouring water into the ant hills, plucking grass in big handfuls, throwing them in the air, seeing how much I could fit them into my shirt. You know what I'm saying? I look to the left and the white girl saying she went to a Christmas tree farm. She the first to go in the material war. You know what I'm saying? The material war, when that class consciousness hit for everybody, she the first to go. That's what I'm looking around the room like. I'm looking around the room like, Robert's got a quick hand. You know what I'm saying? Shh, shh. I'm gonna look around the room. Y'all know the next lyrics. I ain't saying shit. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, and then she spent wait, it doesn't stop? And then she spent the summers at her family's vacation home in Stone Harbor, New Jersey. She had multiple homes and she had a vacation home where she occasionally performed acoustic. Oh my God. Oh my God. See, she's not even from Nashville, or she's not even like acquitted to a music scene. What I want to get here more so than the class consciousness is the fake aesthetic she takes with like her voice. You heard her fake that country accent, right? And that's because at 11 she traveled to Nashville with her mother and to focus on sending labels like tapes and everything, right? But in Nashville, the culture of country was the most popular over there. And what happened was Taylor Swift just basically conformed to this loose image or visage that gave her popularity, right? So here it's very clear that Taylor Swift was a rich white girl with a dad that was a popular mogul on Wall Street, right? Taylor Swift came straight out of wealth as a rich, well-traveled white girl. You know what I'm saying? Let me get back to here. Let me read some of the comments. But Taylor Swift came straight out of wealth as a rich, well-traveled white girl, and then started faking accents in order to be more relatable as a small-town girl with the guitar. You know what I'm saying? That's diabolical. Someone said industry plant funded by a plant industry. I don't really think this is like industry plant, but this is definitely a means of wealth that most 99% of people don't have. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is still a form of capitalistic emplacement in a white lens. So I call it white supremacy. I don't know. I call it white supremacy. Someone said when I heard that, I couldn't remember a time when I felt like she was more of a stereotype of an upper class white girl. She was perfect for the Reed ended up playing privileged embodied. Yup. She was perfect for the role she ended up playing and then switched into a pop role, right? Someone said Christmas tree farms are where the majority of North America trees come from. They have them in pockets of the mountain regions across various states in the United States. Wow. But anyways, it's very clear that Taylor Swift wasn't doing anything different from the norm, right? In fact, she was trying to appease the norm. And and then she would change aspects of herself in order to appease that said same norm. And at this time, country as a whole was fully co-opted, right? The idea of Southern music is a very easy way to racialize a demographic in order to get to that point of Taylor Swift sitting on that chair and faking that accent, right? So there's a whole history to this, is what I'm saying, right? When I say country was co-opted, there's a whole history of co-option, and there's a history and narrative to Taylor Swift having to fake that accent on that chair. You know what I'm saying? The white country girl had to be normalized at first to an audience, and that's been happening for the last 100 damn years. Like, I won't go too far, but I just want to brief you on the history of country music. So we know sonically where the genre kind of devolved from black understanding. Aight. This is called American Fads and Crazes from the 1920s. But let me read some comments first. Someone said, yup, she came from the Trump playbook of already having money, right? Industry plant because her dad bought her stock in the country that published her. Oh, well, yup, her dad did buy her stock in that company. You could say that if you wanted to argue it that way. Shit, I'm not going to protect her. Jump her. Do it. Everybody, it's always kill all billionaires until it's time to kill all billionaires. Then all of a sudden nobody want to kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always eat the rich. Then you see the rich person in front of you and they sing a little breakup song and you're like, maybe I don't want to eat. Nah, it's eat the fucking rich. Eat the projections of the rich. Eat the symbolism of the rich. Like, go jump her if you want. I don't care. I don't care. Someone said I just arrived. Did we talk about the friends with Mega? Wait, did we talk about being friends with Mega podcast bros? Because the ways the Swifties were during elliptic. Wait, Taylor Swift is even friends with Mega podcast bros. What the hell? Okay, I. Honestly, this is a lot for a first playing. So I'm gonna talk about the Mega podcast bros things and the Taylor Swift things, and then I'm gonna cut it after that because we're getting well over an hour. Like, we're getting to like an hour or something. But let's talk about the Mega podcast bros and Taylor Swift. I'm probably gonna do another live when I come back home, just talking about Taylor Swift and her country era. But this is the article I found surrounding that. Taylor Swift under fire for hanging out with Mega after posing for a photo with popular podcast co-host. Damn. So Taylor Swift has raised eyebrows after she and her boyfriend Travis Kelce were pictured with podcasters Taylor Lewin and Will Compton. Fans of the pop star have since taken to social media to share their opinions on the viral photos. Some were even calling her out for it. Swift and her boyfriend Kelce are receiving massive backlash online. Oh my god. So she actually is friends with the Mega podcast bros. No way. Did she do a Mega podcast with them? No way. I gotta pull up a TikTok about this.
So Taylor Swift was recently seen hanging out with the Bussin' with the Boys podcast bros. For those who aren't aware, the Bussin' with the Bros boys are very pro-Trump. In fact, they were part of the podcast so-called Manosphere, which many see as very influential in getting Trump elected. In fact, the CEO of UFC...
The British accent throws me off so much because I can't tell if it's AI or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, when British people talk, I'm like, you gotta be AI, dog. Like, no way. Like, you be talking and you just sound too much like a created human being. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, well, the coffee and the crumpet are here for the 7 p. Like, it just sounds so broken up too. It just sounds like AI slop whenever British people talk. Like, I can't stand it. I'm sorry. I just had to throw some quick strays at British people. Shout out to Danky Jabo, though. That's the one British person I like.
We thank them for their efforts in this area.
I want to thank some people real quick. I want to thank the Nell Boys, Aiden Ross, Theo Vaughn, Bustin' with the Boys.
In fact, they even got a Trump handshake. Before you say Taylor takes pictures with loads of people, she probably doesn't even know who they are. One of the guys from that podcast said that she actually asked them to hit that pose because Bustin' with the Boys is her favorite podcast. Travis actually went on their podcast.
She said Bussin' with the Boys was her favorite podcast. Well, it kind of just goes to show with the case of like white feminism too, right? And how feminism doesn't teeter from a norm or doesn't upset a norm too much. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, Taylor Swift in this trad wife aesthetic as she's presenting through this album too, is very comfortable with the white people around her that even degrade black people. Like, I'm telling you, she does it herself. If you were privy to the situation all the way back when Maddie Healy and Taylor Swift were having cunnilingus time, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were doing the little sneaky link like little thing. That was a very high profile relationship that got leaked by paparazzi. And Travis Kelce, if you don't know, is a very racist figure who said some very racist shit about people Taylor Swift has worked with, like Ice Spice, right? And then after that was leaked, after it was leaked that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were dating, and kind of the discourse around Taylor Swift and her acceptance of Matt Healy's racism went on the radar. All of a sudden, Taylor Swift started doing remixes with Ice Spice in order to try to repair her image. You know what I'm saying? But let's keep watching this.
Recently, Taylor Swift herself was vocal about her support for Kamala Harris in the last presidential election, so her boyfriend going on their podcast, her hanging out with them, seems to me to be a concerted effort to reach across the aisle and recapture some of her conservative supporters that she might have lost or alienated slightly due to her endorsement of Kamala. We all know that Taylor is an excellent businesswoman and this is good business. Do you find...
I feel like this is AI. I feel like this is not real. I feel like she's not a real person. I actually do feel like she's AI. I need two of the same video, and I need to compare.
They tortured Greta Thunberg. They dragged her by the hair. They threw her.
Never mind. I think this is just somebody that reposts certain videos of people, right? But anyways, shout out to y'all. Shout out for y'all for coming and chilling and hanging with me. What I'm gonna do before we end though is I'm gonna pull up a type beat and we're gonna see if this Taylor Swift song really goes. Taylor Swift type beat free for use. I'm gonna see if I can really make a Taylor Swift song that goes. You know what I'm saying? Let's see this one. Let's see this one. Okay, hype me up, chat. Hype me up, chat.
I was floating in a star-crossed world. I was your little bubble, little girl. I met you. You changed my world. You dunked me in like a little swirl. Hey, my life was a blur. Did you want me or did you really want her? You left me in the cold, nigga, burr. Nigga, burr, nigga, burr. Now I'm finna burn down the world with my passion. I'm Taylor Swift and I had a good day. $1 billion on tour getting paid. Travis Kelce hit me the other day. I'm kinda insecure about his past, bae. I heard they used to eat fish fillet. So I be cooking plenty up in May. Hey, for all the times I'm sad, I look in the mirror, smile, remember I'm white, I should be glad. 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 So I say, I'm throwing all the problems that I ever had in the trash. I'm itching them off like a rash. I could freestyle a Taylor Swift song. I could freestyle a Taylor. That's just not hard. It's not hard. Like, I don't understand why people think Taylor Swift is like the epitome of like culture. And this is where my white fatigue lies, where I'm just like, anybody could do this. Like, if you want to be Taylor Swift, like, this isn't to discourage anybody that looks at Taylor Swift and is like, oh, I love Taylor Swift's pen or the art and I want to make music like Taylor Swift does. Guess what? It's very easy to do it. Go wake up and do it, dog. I have a dream. Very easy to make a Taylor Swift song. Very easy to make a persona like that. But like I said, it was fun, guys. I'll catch y'all later tonight because I want to do another stream. I had a whole bunch of other Taylor Swift stuff to cover, but there was just pages and pages and pages of stuff, and things just kept coming up. So I'm like, I'm going to cut this off at an hour, and then we're going to do another Taylor Swift stream. That's going to be like 2 damn hours long, and like that will be the longer stream where we get all my grievances out, because I do want to talk about Taylor Swift and how she kind of co-opts the image of country. I want to talk about Black identity. I want to talk about the artistic integrity with art. I want to talk about all of that. So it's been fun. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my God, we have almost 200 people live across platforms. It's cool. It's always cool. Heart, 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 heart. I'm going to be back on Twitch on the 14th. Remember, I love you and I'll catch y'all.